you doing, guys? Today I'm going to do another little side project on my 857. Kind of like the battery box on my 1056. I had a want to do to this tractor for a little while, and it's not as labor intensive as the battery box, but it is something that I just was interested in, and it may be a little controversial, but at the end of the day I just wanted to kind of do this. And what I wanted to do was shorten the main shifter of the transmission. This is actually the gear selector on a wheel horse. The smaller arm here is to switch from high to low. And ultimately what I wanted to do was to shorten this shifter to be the same height as the high-low shifter. So basically I want the ball to be the screw-on balls right here. I want it to be in the same level position on the big shifter. There's no particular reason for that other than I want to do it. So today what we're going to do is I have another one of these shifters. We're going to modify it in order to get the ball lower. Ultimately, I took a straight edge and I went right from the high-low shifter across to the main shifter. And if I measure from right at the bend up 3 inches, it is my estimation that the balls will be evenly at the same height. So that's what we're going to do to the shifter that I have in the garage. We're going to lop a section out of it, shorten it up, and ultimately they should lay fairly close together. The other thing, and I've gotten questions on this before, so I'll just kind of answer it, and I'm going to kind of do it in this video also. Where did I get the white shift knobs for my 1056? And to be honest with you, those are original wheel horse knobs. They were black. Ultimately I just sanded them down and primed them and then painted them white. So let me show you how I did that also. With the second shifter on the workbench, I can show you essentially what I did. I measured the overall distance from from here to the top of the shifter, and then basically subtracted the amount that I needed in order to get 3 inches of overall height of the shifter from the bend to the top of the threads. And when we look closer, you can see I cut the shifter. This is the portion that is being removed. I smoothed and beveled the arm, and when we take a look at it, it should be, might be just a hair short to 3 inches. It all depends on where I measure it from the bend. But essentially, I should be in the ballpark for the shifter to be at the right height to get the balls in line with themselves. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get the welder out, ring weld around this thing, and then eventually just grind it down. Overall, the shifter's in good shape. I did take where is it? Here it is, the holder. This thing is the collar that goes on right here, which holds it in the transmission case. It's held in by a roll pin. I just pulled it out to make it easier for me to do my modifications and when I'm going to weld it all together. So that's the plan on the shifter arm in order to get it to the right height. When it comes to the shifter balls themselves, essentially I just sand the ball down with like 220. This one, I can't remember which one. It's either this one or the other one. It had some serious gouges in it. So I just took a little bit of Bondo spot putty, just covered the entire ball just like that. And then just sanding it with a little piece of 220 and a paint stick. Essentially I'll get it to about this position. I'll, feel it, make sure there's no lumpy bumps. I'll even shoe shine it kind of with a piece of Scotch-Brite in order to just really make sure that all the edges are smooth. And then what I'll do is I'll prime fill it, and I just get some Duplicolor primer filler, or sandable primer I should say, and we'll put like 2 or 3 good coats of it on there, let it dry, sand it with 600, and then I'll hit it with some what I always use, which is some white engine paint. Let that dry, and then install them. The only time you have to be a little careful with them is when the paint is still kind of fresh and you go to screw it down onto the arm itself. You don't really want to grip it super tight because sometimes you can leave some finger marks in the shifter balls. But as of right now, I'm going to start sanding, and, well, we're going to weld, we're going to sand, and we're going to prime. With the arm on the little welding table I have here, I did shim it to the best of my ability to get it as straight as possible. And basically, I have the straight edge. If I put it right here, I don't see a whole lot of light underneath it, so I'm going to say that's fairly straight. Also, if I go in this direction with it, like from the threaded end to the bend, it touches for the most part. It's close enough. So I'm happy with that. I got my ground set up. I am using this Harbor Freight 90-degree magnetic angle. I'm only going to tack it together in this position because these things do mess with the weld. That magnetic field will kind of screw around with the weld. So I will tack it together the best I can, make it nice and solid, remove this, and then weld it all around. So after the welding, I've just hit it with the die grinder real quick and filed it down. And ultimately, the shifter is ready to go. I'm just going to etch prime this real quick, or just the top portion. I'm not going to repaint the whole arm. And we'll get it ready for install. Came out pretty nice. There is, where is it? Oh, right there. You can see it right there. Maybe it'll focus. Maybe it won't. Let me back up a little bit. You can see there's a small weld void right there, where it's just where the edge of the weld hit the actual shifter and just pulled it away a little bit. But I'm not going to get involved with that. We're not going to have any catastrophic issues with this. If it totally comes apart, I got bigger issues than just the shifter arm. All right, so let's get on to the next step. And there we go. A little bit of an etch prime. I just blended the paint into the base of the arm. And overall, I'm real happy with the way that came out. So I'll let this dry up. We'll finish up the shift balls, and then we'll get this thing installed. Shifter's installed. Looks good. I just have to put the shifter boot on. I got the little set screw down there, you know, just tightened enough to create enough drag on the shifter. I've locked down the little lockdown bolt, and, you know, everything works as it should. Oops, there you go. And everything works as it should. It is a touch higher than the high-low arm, but really at the end of the day, you're never going to notice it. And once we close it like this, just gives a different look. That way you don't have that big arm kind of sticking way up. On this tractor, I'm just going to leave it alone. But on this tractor, I wanted to try the little shorter shifter. Alright, last up, we're going to paint the shift knobs. Before I squirt these with some white paint, I thought I'd just show you what they look like after they've been sanded with like 600. They're not perfect, but they are, let's put it this way, close enough. Once I put some white paint on this, you'll never notice if there's any little imperfections. But yeah, just, you know, it gets rid of the mold line down the center and all that stuff. It just makes it look like a clean white knob. Alright, I'm going to use the same paints I always do, Duplicolor engine paint. And we're just going to use a classic white. And there we are. The knob's painted white, the arm is shortened, and to be honest with you, I kind of like that length of the main shifter arm a lot better than what the stock wheel horse was. So this one here, you can see I have white knobs on this tractor also, but the arms are in the stock length, with the main shifter arm higher than the high-low stick. And to be honest, I kind of like that better. I think that looks cleaner and nicer, if there's a better word. Alright guys, well, thank you so much for watching as always. If you are a regular, I appreciate all your support. If you're new to the channel and you find, you know, tractor, small engines, interesting little projects, by all means, please subscribe. Click the bell so that way you know that I put up a video. I usually put my videos up on Friday night, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Sometimes I don't, depends on where I am during the week. But as always, if you can just give it a thumbs up if you liked the video, all of that is much appreciated. And as always, have a great day.